What's up, fanboys and fangirls? Tyler was just whispering over here.
No, never. I would never do that.
He's telling secrets. Welcome back to another episode of TV Talk. This week we are going to be talking about Secret Invasion Episode 4, Beloved. And after we finish that, it'll be about 10-15 minutes, we will hop into our review of Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. So stay tuned for that, if that's what you're here for. Okay, Episode 4. We're past the point, like the midpoint in the story.
Past the point of no return.
Yeah, we're committed, right? We're committed to watching this series in its entirety. Well, first off, I should say welcome back, Trevor.
Hello.
Luke's on an extended hiatus. Not really, just these 2 weeks. He'll be back next week. But thank you for joining us again.
Of course.
And Tyler, still here. I haven't scared him away. And I'm Brett. But let's just go down the line. Trevor, what did you think about this week's episode of Secret Invasion?
Last week we talked a little bit about binging versus a week.
Yeah.
When I got around to watching it today,
Mm-hmm.
I was kind of like, oh yeah, this is a show. Like it wasn't as I think binging it did work a little bit more in its favor rather than this week by week thing.
Sure.
A big twist in it I liked, and some other kind of cool things happening. This is, I think, the first time Extremis has come back since Iron Man 3, which is kind of cool. But no, overall, I'm still kind of like, yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
All right.
I think landing at it's fine is pretty consensus at this point. I think this was just a fine episode. Not strong or weak, just fine.
Definitely feels to me like it's trying to up the ante by the
little bit,
end.
yeah.
And unfortunately for me, like that just didn't land. What I enjoyed more was like the relationship stuff, the stuff with kind of the flashback and
The poem scene is good.
the poem
Yeah.
seems really good.
I liked that a
enjoy
lot.
that. It's in the small little moments that I think this show is at its strongest, which
But then it remembers it's part of the MCU.
makes the news that this show cost over $200 million.
Oh no,
What?
I didn't see this.
Insane to me.
Oh no.
It's probably just Samuel Jackson leveraging for more money.
He's an executive producer. I think he paid for part of it.
Oh, that's fair. He's like, I'll pay for it if you pay me.
That's
this.
That's what we're learning about Hollywood this last couple weeks is that it's all just shifting money around, right?
Yeah.
But in any case, I do want to talk a little bit about some of the reveals. We do get the reveal. Total spoilers. If you weren't aware, this is a total spoiler show. So, like, we do get the reveal, confirmation that Rhodey is a Skrull.
But has he always been one, or is
I was
it?
going to say, how do we feel about that? Where does that fall in the... Yeah, like, when did he become one? Was it after the blip? Was
Right.
it... I mean, surely
That would
we had
be-
original Rhodey for at least through Endgame, right?
Yeah, that'd be interesting if it was like somehow it gets like wires get crossed and maybe you do come back as a Skrull, like you come back as another race or something after the blip. I doubt that's what it is, but that could be kind of cool. I feel like in this one they really had Don Cheadle pushing to be more mean.
Yeah,
than he's
they
been in
were
the past couple episodes.
Definitely.
So I think it's not the Rhodey we. That makes me feel like it's not the Rhodey we know.
We have had.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I-
agreed.
My guess is, and I could be way off. I mean, it's been a while. But my guess would be it's when I think it's in Civil War, he gets shot out of the sky.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then they get the stuff to make him walk again.
Prosthetics, yeah.
It makes me wonder if maybe he was replaced then.
Oh. Interesting.
Because from that point on, he is kind of angry.
He's an angry Rhodey.
I mean, I would be too if that were me. But like, he does have a small shift from what I can remember. Now, obviously, I haven't watched it very recently, but that would be my guess.
Yeah. The other kind of reveal that happened super fast. We had 0 minutes of actual runtime to process this. Is Guy is not dead. Of course.
Yeah.
Of course not. Like, it happens at the very end of the first episode, or of last episode, episode 3.
In the very
And then-
beginning of this.
Immediate.
It's the cold open. It's before the credits.
It's like
That's true.
I'm pretty sure. What's his name? Chewbacca was dead in Rise of Skywalker for longer than.
Oh, sure.
Kyle was.
It's true. It's true. Yeah, they don't try to hide that at all.
Mm-mm. No, not
You
at
know,
all.
I'm going back to the roadie thing. Here's my other reason for thinking that's when. Because when Samuel Fury's wife tells him about how she replaced the doctor, it was, promise me you'll do this, and this.
Oh.
And when Rhodey got hurt, it could have been a scroll saying, like, I can step in. And Rhodey's like, promise me you'll take care of Tony, you'll do this stuff.
How much backlash will Marvel face if they end up doing that? Because you're essentially saying the character that you thought you knew in Infinity War and Endgame was actually a Skrull. Did attend Tony's funeral, was probably...
It was the promise that he made, though.
And I think that's...
But now that Tony's dead, there's no promise.
I just feel like if you're going to lean into that, like...
Well, and since...
You got to show more of his story.
Well, he's got Armor Wars coming.
Oh, that's right.
I forgot Armor Wars is a thing.
Yeah.
You good, bro?
I just had to drop my wallet and keys. They were
feel
annoying
like
me.
Since Captain Marvel, there's always been at least a conversation of, like, are one of the Avengers a Skrull?
Mm-hmm. That's true.
And so I think if you had to pick anybody, Rhodey's probably the obvious choice.
And the easiest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You won't piss off too many people if you flip Rhodey. If it was like Thor, people would lose their minds.
That's
or
true.
Cap.
Right.
Like, you have to pick somebody who you can do that with.
That's
Right.
that's a good point. That's a good point. We mentioned Extremis at the beginning of the episode. We get to see Gravik has some new powers this episode as well.
Yep.
His Extremis works very quickly. First off, shot in the face and just immediately heals. But then we get to see his Groot power.
Yeah. Gravik's got the Groot.
Oh. So what do we have left to see? We have the Ice Beast thing. That was on that screen.
That was on the screen.
And then Cole Obsidian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
But what is that? Just they get really big and they get swole real quick. All right, you're going to get the powers of Cole Obsidian. We have an intensive 4-week program.
We'll
for
give you
to
an
get to
axe and some steroids.
There you go.
I can see on paper how this episode is like, oh, this is going to be a banger. Like, look at all these things we're doing. Because the other thing we
but
haven't...
it's 36 minutes long.
Well, I'm just saying on paper. Because there's something yet we haven't mentioned, and that's that we get another supposed death in the form of...
Talos.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I kind of forgot about that. And I watched it like an hour ago.
Yeah.
That was the thing.
Shot and stabbed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really got to double down. He'll be alive before the credits next week.
Right? It's like this stuff is like cold open.
He'll have been faking as someone else.
Yeah, there you go.
That makes sense. I just think that it's... What I'm most disappointed in is that I'm never, like, excited for the next episode of this show.
Yeah.
And whenever I get done and we get around to watch, like, it probably doesn't help that we record this, for me it's typically 4-ish days after I've seen it. Like, it's kind of hard for me to remember everything. Like, nothing's super memorable despite all these things happening. And I think you can... I don't want to blame that it's just bad writing or poor performance. Like, I don't necessarily want to just blame the show because I have also separated myself a number of days from it. Like, we released this thing the day before the next one comes out.
Yeah.
We're almost waiting a week from release. Now, it's not always from when I watch it. And I know you guys both tend to watch it a little closer to the show.
I try to watch it on Sundays.
Yeah.
But then I also just don't want to watch it every
Well, that was
week.
me today.
Yeah. It's like, I don't really want to watch it.
So I think that just goes to, I don't know, show that there's at least, it's failing in some regard. I don't know exactly how to phrase it or what exactly it is at this point.
Well, Bob Iger had that quote recently about how Marvel's flooding, like the reason Marvel's doing more poorly is because it's a flooded marketplace at the moment. But you think back in regards to like how to measure the show. You think back to WandaVision. I still there's still very memorable moments from WandaVision. That's even 3 years after it came out, or 2 or 3 years after it came out, and I don't get that with the other shows.
Yeah. Yeah, something similar is like Loki. I remember not
Mm-hmm.
necessarily specific moments, but I remember like the feelings I have, right?
Yeah.
And how that show made me feel. And there's shows like Miss Marvel or this haven't made me feel
Anything?
much of
Yeah.
it. They have, a moment here or there, but that's not enough to, I don't
Right.
know, carry me through 6 episodes of TV, 8 episodes of TV, whatever it is.
And I think today was the closest with the poetry scene.
The poetry
and then,
scene was
them
really
pulling
good.
guns on each other. I think that was
That's the
probably best
moment for
so
this
far.
for this series at this point. Yeah,
Yeah.
I would agree.
Which, while good, not strong.
That's fair. Yeah.
Like they could do better. We've seen them do better. I think that's the disappointing part.
We talked a little bit last week about potentially Fury's wife being a bad guy. Does this qualify her? Is she now a bad guy, or did she pass the bar, I guess, or
I mean, she fulfilled her promise, I
yeah, that's fair.
guess, which was to not hurt him.
Oh, that's cold though. When he walks out and sorry, I just watched this like half an hour ago.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Would you still love me if I was my true self?" And he just doesn't respond for like a full minute.
He's like, I guess we'll never know.
Yeah, right.
And I was like, yeah, man, she shot at you.
Yeah.
It's a good answer.
Right.
She doesn't deserve to know. Yeah, no, I don't know. I mean, I feel like the show is trying to lay it on too thick that she's bad, but not quite bad. And so she's probably going to show up and do something heroic in the end and die.
Yeah.
Because it's Marvel, they'll give us like a fake love story type thing that we're supposed to care about. And I don't know, man. It's just a lot of meh.
Yeah.
And that's unfortunate because I was so excited for this show. I thought this show looked like it was finally going to be something different, and it's just not. And the action scene in the end, Fury is too old to be doing some of this stuff, man. It just looks funny. I don't know.
Not just age, because I've seen
punching the glass looked bad.
Yeah.
I was like, bro, I saw a video of some dude punching glass on Instagram. Everybody's making fun of. That's what it reminded me of. Have you guys seen that video?
The point was that like it was bulletproof glass, and like it took a little bit, but I don't disagree. I think for me it comes down like that scene. It's executed poorly because of the editing and the choreography, and like there's a good premise there.
Yeah.
And
No, like a kill zone thing is
Marvel
cool. Yeah.
can do action. We know that. It's just that it's done poorly.
Yeah. And I mean, when you have scrolls, like, I don't know, I feel like they'd be doing way cooler stuff than just, like, once the cover's blown and Gravik starts using powers, just go for it.
I was just saying,
Yeah.
I think
Instead, he's just like, use my power once, I'm going to go hide behind this car again, because
Yeah.
that's where I was, and that's
what's
cool.
so uninteresting about this is that, yeah, these are Skrulls who they have some level of superhuman strength.
Yeah.
But they've nullified that and just made this a gunfight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Fury,
They're super
Samuel
strong.
Jackson can't be hand-to-hand. He's too old.
They're super strong. They can change appearance. Like, you can do something interesting with that.
Yeah.
Instead, it's guns, and then, Groot arm.
There's also the really poorly edited shot of Fury running that is so clearly a stunt double because he's moving so much faster. And you're just like, what? Like, how does this make it? Do they just don't think people will see it?
They had already spent $200 million. They couldn't spend $201 million.
I mean, it wouldn't even have been $1 million. Just make Nick or Sam Jackson run. I always want to call him Nick Fury.
They probably shot this on film, and it was too expensive to go get more film.
Yeah,
I know.
probably.
Tyler Shake said no. All right, well, 2 more weeks of this.
Yeah. They said that, I guess, the last 2 weeks are going to be super good.
I believe nothing.
Me too.
I've
I've seen like some the apologists
Yeah.
for this show saying that like you guys aren't ready for the final weeks, and I'm like, okay.
What do you know?
Yeah.
I'd love to be proven wrong.
What is your
but-
source? I hope you're right. Please. But yeah, no, I mean it's just fine. The show is fine.
Yeah, agreed. It's fine. And we'll wrap it up here in a couple weeks. All right. We're going to head over to our main main show where we're gonna review Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1. So we'll see you over there.